Sometimes you learn a song because you have to. You need to know it for an upcoming gig, or you need to know it for a class. And then sometimes you learn a song because it teaches you something about music. This is one of those songs. This song is one of those iconic pieces of the repertoire, sometimes used to test you or for professionals to show off at 300 BPM. And the first time I heard it, I was intimidated. I avoided the song for a long time because I didn't want to play it. I didn't think I could play it. But then I learned how to think about music and I learned the song. And it's a lot simpler than it seems. And today I'm going to show you how simple it really is. And by knowing it, you're not only going to have a great piece of repertoire in your arsenal, you're also going to learn something about music. Because this song is nearly perfectly constructed from beginning to end, and you'll better understand how music works by knowing this song. And the song is Cherokee. And before you click away from the video or think, I'm not ready for that or I'm never going to play that song, it's a lot simpler than it seems. For example, the whole A section is 6 notes. That's the whole A section. And it repeats the same melody. And the bridge is one melody that just repeats over and over again, a descending melody, and it slightly changes to account for the descending 2-5-1s you're in. But it's really super simple, and it's genius. It's so perfectly constructed that it will show you something about how music works and how these turnarounds work. So let's dive into Cherokee. I'm going to show you how to analyze it, the melody and the chord changes. I'm going to show you how to transpose it into a couple of keys, and by the end of it, it will help you visualize music better, how music works better. So let's dive in. I'll show you how Cherokee works. For those of you following along at home, there's a great resource. I know I put the sheet music here in these videos, but if you really want to learn some of these songs or just check out the chord changes and start working on chord changes, this is not a sponsor, nothing like that. iReal Pro is a great resource. There's a bunch of songs in there and they're really accurate, and there's also a whole community that you can find songs you're looking for, varying degrees of accuracy, but really handy resource. I use iReal Pro all the time if I'm in a bind and I just need to learn the chord changes of something real quick. So once again, not a sponsor, just a great resource. So the Cherokee A section, let's talk about this real quick. Like I said, it's 6 notes. It's really 5 notes, and one of those is just a passing tone. The 6th note is just a passing tone to get you back to the start of the melody. For those of you unfamiliar with Cherokee, I'll play the melody real quick, and then I'll just tell you the notes. It's so simple. It literally just outlines the tonal center. So I'm going to be playing this in C. It's originally in B flat, but I'm on tenor, have to transpose. I'm in C, so I'm going to be talking about the melody and the chord changes in relation to the key of C. So the melody to Cherokee sounds like this. That's basically the whole melody to Cherokee, to the A section. The end of the second A has a slight variation, which is this. Just to resolve you to the 1 as a strong resolution to end that melody phrase. Now, what's going on there? You can think of the whole A section in relation to the key of C, or relation to the tonal center, whatever key you're in, and it's literally 3, 5, 6, 1, 6, 5, 3, 5, 3, 2, 3, 5, 6, 3, 1, 6, 5, 3, 2, sharp 2, which brings you back to your 3, which is the start of the melody. And then that whole melody repeats. And then when you get to the end, instead of going 6, 5, 3, 2, you go 6, 5, 6, 1. So super simple. It's literally just outlining the chord symbol that starts the song. The C6, all those notes are outlining the C6. Like if you were just to play that as an arpeggio, like it's literally just outlining the tonal center, C6. Now, there are some chord changes that happen in the beginning of the song, and they used to confuse me when I was learning, because I was taught, like a lot of people, incorrectly, I should tell you, to treat every single chord as an individual scale in its own thing. Not right. What's great about this A section is you can think of most of it in relation to C with some baseline, like leading tones, if you will. So C, first key is C, C6, that's great. That's just telling you you're leaving out the 7, you have the 6 in there, which is in the melody. You have the A in there, which is the 6. So great, simple. First set of chord changes is a 2-5 to F, to the 4 chord, to a major 4 chord. Now what does F have in it? The scale F has in it. It has a B flat in it, which is the flat 7 of C. So you can still think of this in C, and now you're thinking, okay, I have C6, now I have C7, because so now your bass line goes down, it goes from C to B flat, and then after that it goes to a B flat 7. So B flat 7 has 3 flats in it. So now you're adding 3 flats to C. So now you have a B flat, an E flat, and an A flat. I should say an E flat, an A flat, and a B flat, which is C natural minor. You're still in C, now it's just C minor. And your bass line now moves to A flat, and it gives you some really cool resolution lines. You have some really cool options to play with there now to bring you back to your tonal center. Because the next set, the next chord, is you're back to your 1, you're back to C. And you can think of all, you can address, once you get more hip and more knowledgeable, you can address each one of these 2 5s or each one of these chords differently in a bunch of different ways. But you can literally think of this whole first section as C, and then C7, and then C minor. And then you're resolving, you're back to C. It gives you some really cool melody lines, and you can think of the tonal, the bass lines go like this. So you have C, and then you have the B flat, so you have A flat as your root. And you resolve back to the major, or the C6 major. That's really cool. You have some really cool options, and you can think of the whole thing in relation to C. Something interesting happens next. You go to the 2 chord, but it's a dominant 2 chord, which this is something they used to do a lot back in the day. I've mentioned this in other videos. And it just gives you some interesting color tones. Again, it gives you a step out of the key, just to give you something interesting. So that next chord is D7. So what's in D7? Same scale, there's just an F sharp in it. So you go from so now you have that really cool color tone, and everything goes up a step. So now you can think of it as D7. You can think of it in the key of D with that F sharp, or you can think of it as G. But I like thinking of it as D because it's a step above your tonal center, and you're about to be going back anyway because the next chord after that is D minor. That was just a little step out to give you some color, to give you something to play with, and then you're back to D minor. And something really cool happens here. You have D minor, and then you have A7 flat 9. And I've talked in other videos about this. That is a dominant chord with a flat 9 in it. So it's telling you what? It's telling you that you are resolving to a minor. It's dominant, but you're resolving to a minor chord. Now A is the 5 of D. You're resolving to D minor, which is the 2 of the tonal center. So it's pushing you back. That's the 6 of the tonal center, and it's appropriate to the tonal center you're in. It's appropriate to C. A7 has a C sharp in it. And you might be saying, oh, like that's out of the key. That's just a passing tone to push you back to your 2, to give you a stronger resolution. Because you could do an A minor flat 9 right there to push you back to D. But it's in jazz theory, it's more common and hipper because it gives you more stuff to do to have that dominant with a flat 9. Because it shows, oh, I'm resolving to D minor. But that would have been a D natural minor, and D natural minor has a B flat in it. But you're resolving to D. Once you get to the D, it's D Dorian because you're in C. It's just showing you're in the key of C. That A7 flat 9 is showing you're in the key of C. So then you're back to your D minor, and then you have a 2-5-1 back to C. You can address that how you normally do. So the A section is really cool. You can think of it in C for most of it, and then you have that D7 step out where you have the F sharp in there you can play with, and then everything after that is you're back to C, and you do a 1-6-2-5, or you do a 2-6-2-5-1. And you can address that in a bunch of ways. I've talked about this in other videos. I don't want to get too in depth on that in this video. So the A section is great. A section is very handleable, very easy. The bridge is what I think scares most people. It's what scared me when I first got into this song. But the bridge is really cool. It's cool and it's like genius. It's my favorite part of the song. So you have a 2-5-1 to C sharp, and then that C sharp becomes a minor chord, and that becomes the 2 of the next 2-5-1 that takes you down a whole step to B. And then that happens again. B becomes minor after that 2-5 resolution, and becomes the 2 of another 2-5 that brings you down to A. And then A becomes minor and becomes a part of a 2-5-1 that brings you back to G, but then G is used as the 5 of a 2-5-1 to bring back to the tonal. It's like a genius cascading set of 2-5s that just bring you back to your 1. It's genius. It's genius. But what really makes it amazing, what makes it genius, is because of the melody that is played over those lines. So there's one melody figure, and I'm going to play it for you. And you might notice when I'm playing. Here, I'll play it and then I'll tell you about it. So this is what the melody sounds like over the bridge. I'm going to play that second part again so you can hear it. It's really cool. If you picked up on what's going on there, it's a repeating phrase that accounts for the changing keys, but it flip-flops. It's a flip-flop. It's played twice, and it flip-flops both times. And it flip-flops both times, if I could speak. And he could have started that melody on, he starts it on the 3. And it makes it a little more complicated when you start it on the 3. He could have started this melody on the 5 and slightly changed it a little bit, and it would have been a simpler resolution. The genius of the melody is where it starts. It starts on the 3. And it's very simple. It outlines, just like the A section, this melody outlines your tonal centers of your bridge. So you have a 2-5-1 to C sharp. So the melody is 3, 2, major 7, 5. Outlining, it outlines your C sharp. So C sharp with a 9 in it. So you have your 3, your major 7, and your 5. And that shows you that it's a major triad with a major 7. Major chord, great. Then it repeats the second part of that. That 2, because at this point, the first part happens in the first 2-5. And then the next 2-5 starts where your tonal center is going down a whole step. The line starts the same, but that 2 of C sharp now becomes the 3 of the next chord, of the next tonal center, excuse me. So then you have 3, 1, 6, 2, 5. Which is really cool because you started with 3, 2, major 7, 5, and then it turns into 3, 1, 6, 2, 5. And once again, that all just outlines your tonal center. So you're outlining, you got the 3, the 1, the 2, the 6, and the 5 of your tonal center. It's outlining, it's showing you that, oh, that's a major 7, 6 chord. So that second swap of the melody is really cool because you're almost playing the same line, but you're now outlining the next tonal center. Really cool, the melody flip-flops, and now you're outlining almost exactly the same way the next melody, or the next tonal center, excuse me. So that's great. That's the first 2 tonal centers of the bridge. That's the first 2 2-5s. That's half of the bridge right there. So now you have 2 more 2-5s, the second half of the bridge. It does the exact same thing over the next one. Now it starts on the 3 of the next tonal center, which is A, 3 of the 6. It does the same thing. It's 3, 2, major 7, 5. Plays the same line. And then it does the same thing there. It starts on the 2 of that tonal center, but that's now the 3 of the next tonal center. So it does exactly the same thing. It does the 3, 1, 6, 2, 5 of your last turnaround of the bridge. But this is where it's so genius. So that resolution, it's bringing you right back. The reason he started the melody where he did, and the reason he resolved it how he did, is because it ends up at the end of the bridge on your 2, which then becomes your sharp 2, which then brings you back to your 3. It's just like the end of the A section. The end of the bridge is just like the end of the A section. He plays 2, sharp 2, 3, and then you're back to your A section, and you're back on the starting note of your A section, the 3 of the tonal center. It's genius. Like, it's such a great melody. It's so great how this works. And it can be a little confusing at first, but you just have to think of it. The first part's in relation to the first 2-5. That's 3, 2, 7, major 7, 5. And then the next part, 3, 1, 6, 2, 5, outlines that one. And then the exact same thing. And you can even think of that melody in relation to when you're trying to play the melody. When you're playing the chord changes, obviously you want to think about the different chord changes, the different tonal centers. But you could think about that also, those 2 melodies, in relation to the first 2-5s. So you could think about that in relation to C sharp. So that's 3, 2, major 7, 5, and then that's 2, flat 7, 5, 1, 4. Or you can think 2, 5 of the next one, of B. So there's a couple of different ways you can think about it. You can think about the same thing of A and between the 2/5 to A and the 2/5 to G. Couple of different ways you can think about the bridge, and the more you think about it, the more variations you think about those different melodies, the deeper the understanding gets. And it's just a really cool way to approach these 2/5s. And it's in a tune that everybody knows, that everybody calls all the time, and it just shows you another way you can approach these 2/5s. Because a lot of people nowadays, are playing these melodic patterns, and then you modulate them over different chord changes, which is really cool. I'm not dogging that at all. This is just another way, slightly different. You're playing a melodic pattern and you're just adjusting it for different chord changes. But you could play this melodic pattern that's just descending whole tones. So you could play it 6 times and you're through half the keys, then you move it up a half step and you play it 6 more times, the same descending line, and you will have hit all 12 keys. So if you were to play that line 3 times, that melody figure 3 times, you would hit 6 keys. So I'll start in C sharp and I'll just go down. So it'd be C sharp, B, A, G, F, E flat. And you can just play it 3 times. Let me take that last one up an octave. So you can see you play it 3 times and you've hit 6 keys. And then you go to the next one, you play it 3 times, you go up a half step and you play it 3 more times, and you've hit 6 more keys. So it's just a really cool way to approach these descending 2/5s. So now that we've analyzed it, probably too much, for those of you still here, let's transpose it into a couple of different keys. The A section, super easy. So let's do that in a couple of different keys. If I start in D, D. All right, let's do G. Super easy. G. Let's do it in C. What we just did in C. F. B flat. And you can go around the whole circle. I'm not going to do them all. So you can see the A section, super easy to transpose, like super easy to transpose. Bridge section is probably going to take a little more thinking, because when you're transposing these, you don't want to just memorize a melody and then just mindlessly play it. You want to think about it when you're transposing in relation to your tonal centers. So for instance, on the bridge, when I'm playing those melodies, I'm not thinking just the notes. I'm thinking, okay, I'm in C sharp, so I'm playing the 3, the 2, the major 7, and the 5. And then, okay, now I'm modulating to B. I have a 2/5 to B. Now I'm playing the 3, the 1, the 6, the 2, and the 5. And I'm like, okay, I'm still modulating. Now I'm in A, so now I'm playing 3, 2, major 7, 5. And now, that's now modulating to G, so now I'm playing 3, 1, 6, 2, 5. And then I'm modulating to F, so, et cetera, et cetera. So the whole time I'm thinking about the tonal centers I'm in and how the notes I'm playing relate to the tonal centers. Same thing with the melody with the A section. It's a lot easier with the A section. And every key, I'm not just playing E, G, A, C, A, G, E, G, E, D. I'm thinking 3, 5, 6, 1, 6, 5, 3, 5, 3, 2, and thinking about how it relates to the tonal center. I'm picturing the tonal center in my head while I do it. And that's what you have to do with these songs. And here's a little piece of advice, something that I wish somebody had told me sooner in my journey. Some of these things are hard to learn. That bridge section in Cherokee, I know I made it look easy. It took me a while to learn it and to really figure out what was going on. And it's probably going to take, if you're new, or if you haven't thought about it like this or worked on the song, it's probably going to take you a minute to figure it out. There was an exercise that I'm going to talk about in another video that I worked on over ornithology. I was not ready for it, but I just dove in and did it. That took me, I am not kidding, months. It took me months to be able to play this exercise effortlessly over the song and be able to think about everything involved in the exercise while doing it. And I have used the knowledge from that exercise, the information I gained, I have used it for 20 years. So the piece of advice is this: even if something takes you weeks, even if it takes you months to learn something, if you learn it the right way, if you learn that thing, you will then use it for the rest of your career. It's like, okay, if it takes you a week to learn this horn line and all 12 keys, you will use that for the rest of your life. So that's something you have to weigh the work you're putting in with the outcome you're getting. Like learning this song, even if it takes you a couple of weeks, you're gonna know it for the rest of your life, and it's gonna change the way you think about chord changes for the rest of your life, for the better. It's gonna make you understand chord changes more for the rest of your life. For the rest of the time, even if you stop playing, you'll still understand. But yeah, there's exercises I do. There's things I've spent weeks learning, months learning, and I've used them for every day for 20 years. Like the payoff from just spending that little extra effort to learn something has been monumental. It's like the dividends this work has paid out from the work I did is astronomical compared to the amount of work it took. At the time, it seems like a lot of work, but then the payoff you get is extreme, like incalculable. So that's my little piece of advice. Even if these things are hard, even if they take some time to figure out, just spend the time to figure them out because you will use them forever. So that was Cherokee. I love that song. It's a perfectly constructed song, in my opinion. If you take the time to learn the song and really analyze it and dive deep into how the things function and think about the chords while you're playing the melody over them, it's really gonna help your understanding of music. It's gonna make your understanding of music stronger. And on top of that, you're gonna encounter the song. If you wanna play it all, if you wanna go sit in jam sessions, somebody's gonna call Cherokee at some point, and you're gonna know it. You're gonna know it really well. Keep an eye out for the next video because I'm gonna talk about the exercises I use to be able to navigate these kind of chord changes, and it's a very versatile, applicable melody, and keep an eye out for that video. And if you notice, two things. My studio looks a little bare right now. It's because I'm in the middle of moving, so videos have been kind of sparse because we've been moving for a while. And then also put a hamper, if you've watched the other videos, on the release date of the app. It's pushed back a little bit, not too far, but I'm getting really excited. I have been really excited for a long time. I'm finally excited to share it. The other day I built the AI for it, which is like mind-blowing. We're at this place, it's the future. We're at this place where I can sit at a coffee shop and build an AI. And so now I'm training it to use all the information and just ironing out the last little pieces of the visual side of it to make it look great, so you guys can, so it makes sense. So the things I'm talking about now, you'll be able to see them. Like you'll be able to really look at what's going on. And then I need to build the website. So that's gonna take a little while, I'm sure, navigating everything over to that side of things, which we don't have to get into. But yeah, I'm really excited for the app and for this move. Our new house is amazing, and soon you're gonna see the studio in there that I've been setting up. So thank you for joining me, guys. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed. Please like the video and share it and comment. You know, it all helps the algorithm. And yeah, just keep an eye out for updates for the app. I can't wait to release it. I'm itching to release it. I'm really excited to give this tool to you guys. So thank you guys for joining me. I'll see you in the next one.